Everything came to light. He said your name and, without beating around the bush, confessed that he never loved that other person and should have never left you. He left looking for fleeting things, but now he can't stop thinking about coming back to you. He regrets leaving you and no longer wants that empty, strange life. He recognizes that his decision was a mistake, influenced by someone who manipulated and trapped him with witchcraft. He knows that what he really needs is your love, support, and spiritual guidance, because only you can help him heal. He remembers the happy moments you shared because the connection between you is still alive. You both think about and love each other. Don't let anyone get in the way and take what is yours. Write in the comments, true love always triumphs. Although he is proud and a bit stubborn, he hasn't reached out because he knows he hurt you with words you didn't deserve. But his feelings haven't changed. He loves you deeply and is now facing the consequences of his actions. During a discussion filled with tears and regret, his friends tried to convince him to leave you behind. They told him that life is too short to suffer for someone, especially a woman. There was even someone driven by envy and jealousy who wanted to keep you out of his life. Despite that, he didn't let himself be influenced. With an open heart and a trembling voice, he confessed that you are the best thing that has ever happened to him and that neither time nor distance can erase what he feels. You are unique, and nothing can change that. After much thought, he has made a decision that could change everything, and he will look for you very soon. This reunion could be the beginning of a new chapter together. Thank the universe for guiding you to this message, because your angels have been working to ensure you receive it. That special person hasn't stayed away because he doesn't care, but because he is carefully planning how to return to your life without making the mistakes of the past. It's not a decision he is taking lightly. He knows there were wounds, words, and moments that left a mark, and he doesn't want to come back to you in a rushed or impulsive way that would risk what he feels. Inside him, there is a constant battle between his fears and his desires, between what reason tells him and what his heart screams. There are days when he feels strong and convinced to seek you out immediately, and others when insecurity holds him back. However, deep down, he knows he can't ignore the strength of what unites you for much longer. That love he feels for you is real, profound, and doesn't fade with the passing days. Neither distractions, nor the people who have tried to take your place, nor the external voices that have opinions about his life, have managed to extinguish what he feels. Even in his most vulnerable moments, when sadness invades him or alcohol makes him lower his guard, his thoughts return to you. He remembers your laugh, your gestures, the way you looked at him, and feels an emptiness that nothing and no one can fill. What he longs for is not a fleeting adventure or a momentary thrill, but a solid commitment, something that makes him feel he is finally where he needs to be. In his most private thoughts, he has imagined a life with you, a home that is his sanctuary, children running down the hall, mornings of coffee and endless talks, nights when he can sleep peacefully, knowing he has the love of his life by his side. He has dreamed of that future more than once, and although there is distance now, he hasn't lost hope of building it. To him, you are not just another chapter in his life. You are the entire book he wants to keep reading until the end. Although he hasn't said it out loud yet, the universe is pulling invisible strings so that the reunion happens at the exact moment when nothing and no one can interfere. This is being prepared, and when it arrives, everything will fall into place as if it were always destined to happen. His inner circle doesn't always understand what he feels. Some of his friends advise him from their own perspective, telling him to leave the past behind, to close that door, to look for something new. They say this without knowing the true bond that unites you, without understanding that your story is not a common one. There are even those who have spoken ill of you, making things up or exaggerating situations to push him away. What they don't know is that even if he listens, his heart is not manipulated. You have always held the first place in his life, even when circumstances made it seem otherwise. And there's a detail you might have already suspected. One of his friends has feelings for you. It's an interest he has kept quiet, but one he has tried to use to keep him away from you. Despite that, your special person is not confused. He knows what he feels, and nothing, not envy nor hidden competition, will change what is in his heart. What is destined for you cannot be stopped by comments, distance, or mistakes. Your connection is so unique that it continues to grow even in separation. It's like an invisible bond that keeps you connected through thoughts, dreams, and signs that seem to appear at the most unexpected moments. No matter how much time passes, that energy is still alive and grows stronger every day. What you have was not born from nothing, it was written, planned by something greater than both of you. And when something is written that way, no human force can break it. Karma is already at work. The people who have tried to separate you with gossip, lies, or hidden intentions will soon see their actions return to them. The truth, sooner or later, always comes to light. And when it does, they will understand that playing with someone else's love has a price. Everything they sowed against this relationship will come back to them, and you will have the opportunity to see the situation clearly. There will be no more confusion, no more doubts, only the certainty that what you feel is stronger than any obstacle. This message comes to remind you that you are not alone in this feeling. The love you have in your heart is not one-sided, nor has it been lost. It is still alive on the other side, waiting for the moment to meet you again. The universe has been working to align your paths and give you the opportunity to live this love in a new, more mature, and more conscious way. So, be grateful for this sign. Write "I accept love" in the comments and truly feel it, because that simple act opens doors you can't even imagine. Sometimes accepting is the first step to receiving. Very soon, the moment will come when you can leave behind the pain, the hurtful words, and the silences that separated you. Forgiveness will be the key that opens a new chapter, and in it, the mistakes of the past will become lessons to strengthen what you have. Prepare yourself, because that reunion will not be superficial. It will be an embrace that closes wounds, a look that says everything without needing words. A new beginning where you both know that what you are receiving is a gift that not everyone gets to experience. The path to this point has been difficult, full of trials and moments when it seemed all was lost, but nothing was in vain. Every experience prepared you for the moment that is to come, and when it arrives, you will understand that everything had a purpose, to lead you exactly to the place where you can love each other with complete freedom, without fears, without interference, and with the blessing of the universe. You are both destined to reunite and heal those wounds that, even after months or years, still feel recent. Time has not erased what happened, but it has allowed each of you to see things from a different perspective. Now, the universe is aligning for you to finally meet face to face, to look at each other without masks, and to speak from the heart. I want you to keep your mind and heart open, because what's coming is not just any conversation. It will be a moment that marks a before and after in your lives. Every word you are reading is part of the message the universe wants to give you, a guide to be ready when it all happens. I understand you might be scared, feel mistrustful, and that emotional scars make you doubt if it's worth opening up again. You've spent sleepless nights thinking about what happened, replaying the same scenes in your mind, wondering how someone who claimed to love you could hurt you so much. It's normal to still feel anger, sadness, or disappointment, but I want you to listen carefully. That person who hurt you, though he may not say it, has also carried his own pain. He hasn't shown it to the world because pride and shame have kept him from admitting it openly, but inside, he is broken. He has faced dark days where nothing made sense, nights where the silence was unbearable, and has fallen into vices that only left him feeling more empty. There was a moment when he was on the verge of an accident that could have changed everything, but his guardian angel intervened, giving him a second chance to reflect and change his path. That experience marked him deeply, and since then, he has felt the call to find you even more strongly, not to justify his actions, but to find the peace that can only come when truths are spoken and forgiveness is granted. The universe is clear. You two need to talk. It's not just about reminiscing about the good or the bad, but about putting everything that was left unsaid on the table, opening your hearts, and allowing the healing to begin. That conversation won't be easy. It will bring tears, long pauses, tense moments, and perhaps memories you'd rather forget. But at the same time, it will be the balm that closes those wounds you no longer want to carry. And even if this meeting doesn't end in a romantic reconciliation, it will be a necessary closure, an act of mutual liberation. It's an opportunity to let go of what hurts, leave behind guilt and reproaches, and open yourselves to new possibilities with lighter hearts. The most important thing is for you to know that this moment is near, much closer than you imagine. It could be a message, a call, an unexpected encounter in a familiar place, but it will happen. And when it does, you will recognize the sign immediately. The atmosphere will feel different, as if time has stopped just for the two of you. During that conversation, there will be moments when your eyes say more than any words. For the first time in a long time, you might feel truly heard, your emotions acknowledged and validated. You will also hear things from him you never knew, truths that might change how you've interpreted what happened. You may discover there were misunderstandings, external pressures, or internal struggles he never shared. And while that doesn't excuse the pain, it will help you understand that not everything was as simple as it seemed. That moment will be so profound that even if you decide to go your separate ways, you will leave with a sense of relief, of having fulfilled something your soul needed. You will feel lighter, as if a weight you've been carrying tirelessly has been lifted. And he, though he may not say it aloud, will experience that same liberation. This week could be key. Don't be surprised if news arrives suddenly, when you least expect it. It might be a message that starts with something as simple as, "Can we talk?" Or perhaps a planned meeting after a sign you both feel is impossible to ignore. That's why it's important to prepare yourself emotionally. Not to carelessly reopen old wounds, but to face them with the strength you've gained. You've learned so much since then. You've become stronger, more aware of what you deserve, and better able to set healthy boundaries. This conversation won't be about begging for love or accepting less than your worth, but about bringing order to your heart and mind. Remember, the universe is never wrong. If this opportunity is coming now, it's because you've both reached a point where you can face the truth without falling apart. Because you now have the emotional maturity to do so. Trust that whatever happens will be for your own good, even if the outcome isn't what your heart initially imagined. Be grateful for this chance to close cycles, to heal, and to open yourself to new stages in your life. Because what comes after this conversation will be light, clarity, and a new beginning, whether together or on separate paths, but always with the certainty that you did what was right for your soul. Even with an uncertain outcome, one thing cannot be denied: this connection was not born by chance, but with a purpose that goes far beyond what you can see now. Every tear you shed, every smile you shared, every silence and every word have been necessary pieces to get to this point. It has all been part of a deep learning process that has not only brought you closer to knowing each other as a couple, but also as individuals. You have discovered strengths you didn't know you had, and he has begun to understand what it truly means to love consciously and with commitment. The universe has been slowly removing the barriers that kept you apart, and although it may seem like things are moving slowly, every step you take is guided toward the same destination: healing. This process is not just about closing a story, but opening the door to a fuller life with more peace and clarity in your heart. The memories of the past, however painful, are becoming teachers. It's no longer about reliving them with bitterness, but looking at them with the intention of understanding what lessons they left and how to use them to grow. Resentment is slowly beginning to transform into compassion, and that is a clear sign that you are ready to let go of what once held you back. The upcoming meeting will not just be a moment of words and glances. It will be a mirror reflecting the growth you both have experienced. There may still be open wounds, but there will also be a new willingness to truly listen to each other. In that conversation, beyond the apologies and explanations, there will be a silent acknowledgement of what each of you meant and still mean to one another. Remember that forgiving is not justifying what happened, but freeing yourself from the weight of carrying that story every day. Forgiveness not only liberates the other person, but it also liberates you. It breaks the invisible chains that have kept you from moving forward with complete ease. It is the most powerful act of self-love you can perform. After that conversation, something inside you will change irreversibly. You may decide to go your separate ways, each with the other's blessing. Or you may discover that the love you feel is strong enough to try again. Whatever the decision, there will be peace. The kind of peace that comes when you know you gave your best, spoke from the heart, and were honest with yourself. The most important thing is to trust that everything that happens will be for your highest good. Nothing you have experienced has been in vain. Every step, every fall, and every rise has been guided by the wisdom of the universe, which knows exactly what you need to evolve. This is your moment to open your heart completely, to allow healing to reach every corner that still hurts, and to receive this new chapter with hope, without fear of what might happen. Everything happens for a reason, and this encounter is part of that divine plan that has been in the works for a long time. It won't be just a conversation. It will be an act of rediscovery where you both recognize not only the person you were, but who you are now, after all you've been through. The words you exchange may stir intense emotions, even tears, but they will also open a path to deeper understanding and a liberation that will mark you forever. This moment will be a unique opportunity to let go of what no longer serves you and focus on what truly matters, a future not conditioned by the weight of the past. The universe has worked in silence to prepare for this moment, guiding you with every step, every decision, and every sign that seemed like a coincidence. Now, the opportunity is before you. Do not reject it out of fear. Do not close your heart out of pride. Allow this transformation to happen, because what comes next could be much more beautiful than you now imagine. It could be the start of a chapter where, with or without him, you walk with a light soul and the certainty that you did everything in your power, and that love in any of its forms is always worth living. Remember that this isn't just an episode in your life, but a key moment where the pieces are beginning to fall into place in your favor. This approaching encounter will not only mark a before and after for you two, but it will also unmask many truths that have remained hidden. That woman who holds him with deceit and dark energies is living her days with a mix of anxiety and fear. Ever since she found out he is determined to come back to you, her world began to crumble. Her fury knows no bounds, and in her desperation, she has decided to resort to witchcraft again, but this time with the intention of making it stronger, more direct, and, in her mind, more definitive. She believes that with the help of an even more experienced witch, she can reinforce the energetic ties and chains that keep him by her side, ignoring that true love cannot be trapped or manipulated by any dark power. The very witch she went to at the beginning had already warned her, you cannot hold someone forever by force, because everything born of manipulation is doomed to break over time. However, blinded by her obsession and the fear of losing him, she has chosen to ignore those warnings and act impulsively. She moves in a hurry, looking for names, addresses, and contacts of those who can help her keep him trapped, without realizing that every action she takes is speeding up her own collapse. And while she runs around desperately trying to cling to something that is already falling apart, he begins to awaken from the mental fog that surrounded him. Every day, he feels less comfortable in that relationship, as if something inside him is slowly breaking the invisible chains that held him there. There are moments when he doesn't understand why he feels so much rejection toward the life he's living now, but deep in his soul, he knows you are the reason, because his heart keeps calling out to you. Even in the midst of the arguments and chaos of his current life, your memory appears like a beacon, giving him the direction he needs to find his way back. Curiously, the energy he feels now is not the same one that kept him tied before. That artificial connection is gone. Instead, there's a growing sense of discomfort, as if the spell is weakening. And that is something neither she nor any witch can reverse, because when the soul recognizes its true home, no external force can prevent its return. What this woman doesn't understand is that the universe always leans toward truth and pure love. No matter how many rituals, ties, or manipulations she tries, in the end, balance is restored, and everything returns to its rightful place. The love you shared was born free, without tricks, and that makes it indestructible against any dark energy. Even now, while he still hasn't taken the final step to find you, his heart has already made the decision. He is following signs that only he understands, dreams where you appear and moments when he feels your presence as if you were by his side. And although he tries to ignore it at times, those signs are becoming clearer and more persistent. That is why now is the time for you to take action too. not out of fear or a desire for revenge, because those energies only feed the negative cycle, but from your spiritual strength and inner light. It's time to strengthen your protection, to raise your vibration, to make your energy so firm and luminous that nothing and no one can disturb it. This will not only help him find his way to you, but will also protect you from any attempts at interference. You can do this through prayers, meditations, and decrees of love and protection, surrounding yourself with people and situations that add to your peace. Because when you are in balance, your energy acts as a magnet for all the good that is destined for you. While she wears herself out in desperation, you can grow in your inner strength, and when he finally takes the step to approach you, he will do so not out of pressure or a momentary impulse, but because his soul, free from chains, will lead him to you. That will be the moment when everything that seems confusing today will make sense. You will see that every obstacle, every delay, and every pain you experienced was necessary to arrive at a reunion where love is stronger than ever and where there are no shadows to dim it. The universe is already working for this to happen, and your role now is to remain firm, confident, and open to receiving what you deserve. Because true love, the kind that is born from the soul, always finds its way back, no matter how many turns of fate. The universe wants you to understand that this is your moment to stand firm, protect your energy, and raise your light above any attempted interference. Do not underestimate the power of your thoughts and words, because every affirmation you make from love and faith becomes a shield that no darkness can penetrate. That's why repeating with conviction, "True love always finds its way," is not just a nice phrase, it's a decree that breaks chains and neutralizes any energy contrary to your happiness. That woman who for so long believed she had him secured through tricks and rituals is now facing the reality she so feared. Everything that is held together by deceit eventually falls apart. The spells that once seemed to have him under her control have weakened to the point of being almost non-existent. He, who once acted in a fog of confusion, is beginning to regain his clarity. He no longer feels for her what he once appeared to feel, and that emotional distance grows with each passing day. It's as if he is slowly waking up from a heavy dream, recognizing that what kept him there was not true love, but an illusion built by force. She senses this, and it completely destabilizes her. In her desperation, she is resorting to extreme measures to try to reverse the inevitable. She has sought out different people who present themselves as masters of dark energies, supposed experts capable of reinforcing the bond she created through illicit means. But every attempt has been futile. Even one of them, perhaps the only one with a shred of honesty, dared to tell her something that left her speechless. You can't hold on forever to someone who doesn't want to stay, and everything you do comes back to you multiplied. That phrase haunts her because deep down, she knows it's true. Now she lives in a constant state of anxiety. She spends her nights awake, checking messages, watching his every move, fearing the moment he makes the final decision to leave. Distrust has taken over her to the point where she no longer even trusts the people who once supported her actions. Every time he is distant, every time he avoids her attempts at control, she feels the rope that held him by her side loosen a little more, and she doesn't know how to stop it. He, on the other hand, although still feeling some confusion, can already see clear signs that something is wrong. There's a discomfort he can't quite explain, but it pushes him to think of you with more intensity. He remembers moments, words, and gestures you shared, and each memory becomes a painful comparison to the life he leads now. The forced love she tried to impose on him has no deep roots, and he is understanding that. He knows that what he feels with you is different. It's free, it's authentic, it's real. That difference is what is pushing him more and more toward you. Even though he hasn't made the final move every day, he gets closer to the moment when he will decide to break the ties completely. And when he does, there will be no turning back. What this woman cannot stand is knowing that, deep down, he never really belonged to her. That's why her fear is so intense, the fear of losing something that was never hers. And the emptiness that will be left, she won't be able to fill with anything or anyone. Meanwhile, the bond you shared, the one born without tricks or manipulations, remains intact on the deepest level. You may have gone through moments of silence and distance, but the tie that unites you has never ceased to exist. On the contrary, every obstacle that tried to separate you has only served to prove that what you have is not fragile, but resilient and protected by forces beyond what is visible. The universe is aligning everything so that truth will prevail over lies, so that real love will triumph over any manipulation. That woman can try 1,000 times to reinforce her spells, spend money, pull strings, but none of it will work. True love doesn't need to be forced, and when one soul recognizes another, no dark energy can prevent their reunion. This is your moment to act from the light, not with the goal of fighting her on her own turf, but to strengthen your own vibration. Surround yourself with people who bring you peace. Dedicate time to activities that nurture your soul, and if you feel it, accompany all this with prayers and decrees of protection. Visualize that person, free, walking toward you by his own choice, guided by love and not by manipulation. Soon, very soon, the scales will tip completely in your favor, and when that happens, you will see how all the effort you put into staying strong and trusting the process was worth it. Because true love, the kind born from the soul and not from the hands of a witch, always finds its way back. This is the moment when you must remain firmer than ever, because the final outcome is very near. The universe has already moved the necessary pieces, and everything that seemed stuck is about to be unblocked. That woman, with all her desperation and her attempts to manipulate destiny, is hitting an invisible wall that she doesn't understand, the divine protection that covers you. Every ritual she attempts, every word she utters to hold on to him, is met with a barrier that sends that energy back to her. It's as if her time is running out, and in her attempt to speed things up, she only manages to get more entangled in her own webs. No matter how much she seeks help from others, she no longer finds hands willing to carry her darkness, because those who once supported her also feel that something in her energy has become unstable, dangerous, and self-destructive. Meanwhile, he is closer than ever to definitively breaking those ties. He has started seeing signs everywhere, songs that remind him of you, casual conversations that mention your name, dreams in which you meet again. Each of these signs acts as a call, reminding him of what he truly wants. In his heart, the decision is already made, and although he has not yet taken the final step, the emotional distance that separates him from her is so vast that only a fragile thread remains, soon to be broken. He is regaining his voice, his courage, his mental clarity. The moment he decides to seek you out will be powerful not because of what he says, but because of what you will feel in his eyes. There will be truth, regret, and a deep need to rebuild what was once broken. He may arrive with clumsy words, perhaps with a silence heavy with emotion, but his presence alone will tell you that he has left everything behind. In that instant, everything they tried to use to separate you will become a distant memory, incapable of affecting what you have decided to build anew.